Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have come to a safe and a sacred space. We've come to this place in community to remember, to celebrate, and to honor those who have gone before us or currently who live with HIV/AIDS. This pause in life, in our busy schedules, is not only warranted, but it is necessary. HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, is one of the world's most serious public health challenges. There is a global commitment to stopping new infections and ensuring that everyone with HIV has access to HIV treatment. The latest statistics on HIV around the world from UNAIDS includes 39.9 million people across the globe live with HIV/AIDS, reported in 2023. Of these, 38.6 million were adults. 1.4 million were children under the age of 15. In addition, 53% were women and girls. New HIV infections that occurred in 2023 are an estimated 1.3 million individuals, marking a 39% decline in new HIV infections since 2010, and a 60% decline since its peak in 1995. New HIV infections, HIV incidence, refers to the estimated number of people who newly acquired HIV during a given period, such as a year, which is different from the number of people diagnosed with HIV during a year. Approximately 86% of people with HIV globally knew their HIV status in 2023. About 5.4 million people did not know that they had HIV and still needed access to HIV testing services. HIV testing is an essential gateway to HIV prevention, treatment, care, and support services. With a global target for HIV status awareness of 95% by 2025. While we have seen an improvement in the numbers over the many, many years since the break in the epidemic of HIV/AIDS, we still must not rest, nor shall we lose heart to see this horrible epidemic come to a halt. And tonight, may we reflect, remember, and may we see our lives shine for those living with HIV/AIDS.
We gather to light the red candle to begin our evening. We do so to bring continued illumination into the world, wisdom to our leaders, healing to our communities, passion into our hearts. We light our AIDS candle to remember that it is the compassionate one, divine source of all that is, burns brightly with us this night and all the days to come. We light this candle to demonstrate the fire of hope that burns within each and every one of us. We light this candle as a symbol of the fire of universal light that hovers over our lives. We light this candle in memory of those who have lost their battle with AIDS. We light this candle to honor those who continue to live courageously with HIV and AIDS. We light this candle to light the way for researchers who work tirelessly to discover new life-giving treatments. We light this candle as a hope, as a prayer that a cure for AIDS will soon be found. As this candle burns, so do the hopes and reflections of our hearts go forth to energize this world that continues to know the fear and destructive power of AIDS. Let our fear turn to hope, and may we offer strength from the sustaining power to all who suffer because of AIDS with your healing love.
Tonight, on behalf of St. Francis Parish and Outreach Metropolitan Community Church of Our Redeemer, we welcome you to this sacred gathering. We're excited to be joined by Frank Greer, who represents East Central Georgia Health, and Montrell Peterson of Augusta University, and the Ryan White, I don't know why I say Ron every time, the Ryan White Project. As we gather in this safe space, we gather our many faiths, beliefs, and dreams. We hope for a world that will have compassion for all, that a comfort for our family and friends who live with HIV will be realized in this moment and in the days ahead. It is our desire through our showing here that we offer mercy and grace, peace and love to all. May we have the strength to weep. May we offer love and grace to the grieving. May we offer a hand to the lonely. And may we stand with those dealing with depression. May our love mirror the love of the eternal flame for those who live in fear, who live under stress, and who suffer rejection. May rest this evening and the days ahead be granted to those who have died, and may hope come to all who live with HIV. Our hope and our true desire as we gather on this World AIDS Day is that cures and breakthroughs come to this horrible disease. May we be granted resolve in our reflections, our songs, and meditations tonight. And now I would like to invite Frank Greer of East Central Georgia to come and speak to us for just a moment. Thank you, Frank, for being here this evening.
Hello, everyone. My name is Frank. I work with the East Central Health District. I work with the HIV and STD prevention program. Today is World AIDS Day. Essentially, is the global movement to unite all people from all walks of life against the fight against HIV and AIDS. So our purpose in that role, or Project Impact as the program's called, is to prevent HIV or to help those that are impacted by HIV. In doing so, Project Impact provides education, we provide testing, we provide pre-exposure prophylaxis that provides security against individuals or against contracting the HIV virus for those that may be exposed to it. We also provide a different array of culturally sensitive counseling and education programs to increase awareness about HIV and to prevent the spread of it. Today, the goal is to unite everyone in an attempt and an effort to campaign against the pandemic that we call HIV, guys. If you need anything, I will be providing Pastor Pastor Trim with some brochures. Please reach out to us with any information, any questions that you guys have. If you want any testing, we provide linkage to care, and we also provide education and awareness around the topic as it relates to HIV. Thank you.
HIV is a terrible disease that has impacted not just our communities, but all communities around the world. And when I thought about a song to give up tonight, I could only think of one song that deals with loss and trying to remember that every single life is valuable and every single life is beautiful. And that's what this song is about. Should have stayed were the signs I ignored. Can I help you not to hurt anymore? We saw brilliance when the world was asleep. There are things that we can't have and can't keep. When they say, who cares if one more light goes out in a sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. The reminders pull the floor from your feet. In the kitchen, one more chair than you need. Oh, and you're angry, and you should be. It's not fair. Just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. If they say, who cares if one more light goes out in a sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares if someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. Who cares if one more light goes out in a sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. Well, I
I have decided on a different poem today than what's up there. This is Rip My Love by poet Tory Dent, who passed away in 2005 after a long struggle with HIV and AIDS. Let us be apart then, like the panoptic chambers in the IC, patient X and patient Y, our names magic markered hurriedly on cardboard and taped pell-mell to the sliding glass doors. Mary, Donald, Tory, our indication that our presence there would prove beyond temporary, like snow flurry. Our health might be regained if aggressive medical action were taken, or despite these best efforts, lost like missing children, the brambles of poor fortune. The suffering of another's I can only envision through the nemesis of my own. The alarming monitor next door, in lieu of a heartbeat signifying cardiac arrest, prompts a scurry of interns and nurses, their urgent footsteps to which I listen, inert and prostrate, as if subject to the ground tremors of a herd of buffalo or horses, just a blur in the parched and post-nuclear distance. I listen, perhaps the way the wounded will listen to the continuing war, so different sounding than before. The assault of noise now deflected against consciousness, rather than serving as motivation for patriotism and targets. Like fistfuls of dirt loaded with pebbles and rocks thrown at my front door, I knew that the footsteps would soon be running to me also. The blood pressure cuff swaddled around my arm pumped in its dystolic state, independently, like an iced organ ready for transplant. As I witnessed with one circular rove of my eyes, my body now dissected into television sets, like one of those asymmetrical structures that serves as a model for a molecular unity in elementary science class. And the plastic bags of IV fluids that hung above me, a Miro-like mobile or iconic toy for an infant's amusement, measured the passing of time by virtue of their depletion. Sometimes I could count almost 5 and then 7 swinging vaguely above me at 4 a.m. I remember the first hand held high above me when I arrived via ambulance at the ER. The gurney accelerating as a voice exclaims on the color of my hands, "They're blue!" Another voice, deeper, virtually yells out into the chaos that she can't get a pulse. Several pairs of scissors begin simultaneously to cut off my clothes, their shears working their way upward like army ants, from pant cuff and shirt sleeve, a formulaic move for the ER staff, which, despite its routine, still retains a sense of impromptu in the hurriedness of the cutting, both deft and crude, in the sound of their increased breathing, of their effort intensified by my blood pressure dropping. The numbers shouted out as if into night fog and ocean. It is not a lack of professionalism, but the wager of emotional investment that I feel. One attendant, losing her aplomb for a moment, can't contain herself from remarking, as if I'm already post-mortem, on what a great bra I have. Stretch lace demi cup, Victoria's Secret. I respond politely in my head. In turn, when they put the oxygen tube into my nose, I thought immediately of Ally McGraw on her deathbed in Love Story and how good she looked in one. And then the catheter where I pissed continually into a bottle like a paraplegic let me in on the male fear of castration. My focus centered entirely on that tube, its vulnerable rigging which I held on to tenderly throughout the night like something dying against my thigh or something, birthing. I held on through the IV in my forearm, overextended with a kind of pleading, the needle hooked deep into the mainstream vein, the way in deep-sea fishing lines are cast into the darkest waters. My body thrashing about in the river weed of its fluids. The translucent infrastructure of IVs and oxygen tubes superimposed itself upon me like a body double, more virulent and cold, like Leda pinned and broken by her swan, like the abandoned and organ failed, regarding its superior soul ascended. So completely and successfully reconfigured within its technological construct, my body proper no longer existed. My vital signs seemed highlighted in neon, preceded with spiraling vortex of my interiority. The part of me people will say later, that's what they loved when they roam about in the cramped, rare book library of their memory for a couple of minutes and think of Tori. Movement can only be accounted in shadows. Virlio informs us the reconciliation of oneself and one's disappearance. In anachronistic sundial, I turned my profile, and the fluorescent falls unfractured, unmediated into the postmodern tenebrism of absence against absence. My quickening inhalations against my backless gown. My love for you, my love for my friends, untethered and floats, snaps apart and off me like the IV tubes and monitor wires that flailed arms of an octopus unfolding without gravity as I reach up in a Frankensteinian effort to shut off my monitors. The constant alarming of the human prototype my own body keeps rejecting while death moves closer, a benign presence. It stands respectfully just outside the perimeters of my life and adjusts itself the way the supervising nurse did the monitor parameters to suit my declining vital signs so I could get some sleep. I felt a relationship with death, a communication. It was more familiar than I ever imagined. What I had always returned to as a sign of me, the self we attribute to the mysterious and perfectly ordered romantic notion of origin. What I'm trying to say is that it was not foreign. It was not foreign, but it was not a homecoming either. There was no God, no other land, no beyond, no amber, no amethyst, no avatar. But there was a suspicion. There was an adieu to recognition. To the shoes of those I love, like Van Gogh, a pair but alone, the voices of loved ones, their tones, their intonations, their like circulation, closed-circuited but effective. There was a listless but clear-thinking comfort that into my own eyes I would go, although not into in the baccalaurean sense, which implies diminishment. There was none of that. It was just the opposite. Expansion, but without a pioneer's vision. What we regard as the self extended itself, but I wouldn't say in a winged way, over the Bosch-like landscape of brutal interactions, a physical pain, a car alarm, and the eternal drilling of disappointment, the exigent descendants of every day, that every day you peer down or up its daunting staircase, nauseous with vertigo, gathering like straw, the rudimentary characteristics of courage, gumption, innovation, and faking it to the hilt like a hilarious onslaught of sham orgasms. Transcendence might be the term. Emerson would lend it. What I'm trying to say is that it wasn't lonely.
Well, this evening, we welcome a newcomer to our World AIDS Day service, Montrell Patterson. She is a dedicated social worker at Augusta University, where she plays a vital role in the Ryan White HIV/AIDS program. In her position, she ensures that clients living with HIV/AIDS receive their essential antiretroviral medications, proper health coverage, and comprehensive support needed to thrive. Her work reflects a deep commitment to improving health outcomes and eliminating barriers to care for marginalized communities. Tonight, as she comes to share insights and experiences and a powerful message about the collective effort needed to end the HIV/AIDS epidemic and support those that are affected, I would invite you to welcome her at this time to come and speak and share from her heart. Let's welcome Montrell.
You can definitely tell I have a 5-year-old, and I love engagement. Hey, Jasir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is good to be here. Pastor Trim, thank you for having me. Again, it is an honor to be here in front of all of you. I was very nervous when I accepted this opportunity to stand up here today, as this is my very first time doing a public speaking event. Hopefully it won't be my last, but I don't want to take too much of your time. When I got ready to come into the field of HIV, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. As a matter of fact, my cousin, who's actually here to show support with me as well, she is the one that got me to go to a breast cancer walk. And I did not want to go to that walk. I said, I'm gonna lay here and I'm gonna rest. Well, Lord and behold, I got up and I went, and there I was greeted by Miss Lisa Ann Willer, who works at the Department of Public Health, where I formerly worked. And I was curious to know what was DPH, what did they do, and if they had any social work opportunities available, because I needed a job. And so she said to me, I do believe that they have a social work position for Ryan White. I said, I don't want to work for Ryan White. Who is that? So I had to do some research and find out. So time went past. I was introduced to Mr. Dykes, Brandon Dykes, who was my former program manager. And he and I connected, and there I was with my first opportunity working for Ryan White. And that's been history. That happened at about 3 years ago, and I've been rocking with Ryan White since. And I must say that I am thrilled to be a part of the environment. I love what I do, and I want to grow in this field and learn more. The more I know, the better. So again, it is an honor to stand before you on today on World AIDS Day. A day of reflection, awareness, and hope. Our theme today is the journey towards zero. Ending the HIV epidemic in our lifetime. This goal embodies hope, resilience, and collective action. Today, more than 39 million people globally are living with HIV. Yet, thanks to advancements in science and unwavering advocacy, we are closer than ever to ending this epidemic. Before I continue, I want to go back and give honor to Pastor Mark Trim for your leadership to this beautiful congregation, for your unwavering support. And a major thank you to Janelle Poe, who is one of the providers at my current employer at Augusta University, who connected Mark Trim and I just over a couple weeks ago. And to my family, my son, my husband, my amazing mother, and all of those that are back at home who was unable to be here today, I just want to say that I love you. Your love and encouragement sustains me. We've made progress. You guys know that, right? In the early days of the epidemic, an HIV diagnosis was often a death sentence. Today, we've made remarkable progress. Antiretroviral therapy allows people living with HIV to lead long, healthy lives. Medications like PrEP have transformed prevention, reducing new infections significantly. Let me share a quick story of a patient who I encouraged to take medication. This was my very first time attending Pride. I had no idea what Pride was. When I started working with Ryan White, they said, Montreal, you've got to go to Pride. I said, I am proud, I'm happy, not realizing that it was this event that honors and gives everybody an opportunity to be themselves. And boy, did I have a time. Well, I was met with this individual who was afraid to get tested. His friends couldn't get him to get tested. Nobody could get him to get tested. So I walked over to this individual and I held him by his hand and I said, it only takes 60 seconds. 60 seconds, you will know your results. 60 seconds, you will know whether you are positive or not. And then he asked the question, and if I am? And I responded, you're going to be walking into a new life. And he got tested. He got tested positive. It wasn't a good look at first. He didn't want to take his medication, but I reassured him that there is life after this. We have come so far. He is an example of how far we've come in the lives we're changing every single day. Challenges, we faced a lot of those. Despite these advancements, there are challenges that still remain. Stigma. Many people still avoid testing or treatment due to the fear of being judged or discriminated against. Inequities. Access to care is not universal. Marginalized communities often face the highest barriers to prevention and treatment. Education gaps. Misinformation about HIV continues to hinder progress. underscoring the importance of awareness and advocacy. If we are to reach zero, we must confront these challenges head-on with compassion, advocacy, and determination. Vision for the future. I like participation. Hold up a zero. So what does the journey towards zero look like? 0 new infections. This requires widespread education, access to prevention, tools, and routine testing. 0 AIDS-related deaths. Everyone should have access to affordable, life-saving treatment. 0 stigma. By fostering empathy and understanding, we can create a supportive world for those living with HIV. None of this is possible without collective action. Let us commit to standing together, supporting one another, and being agents of change. As I reflect on our mission, I am reminded of a song that captures the essence of this movement. Pastor Trim, you didn't know I could sing, did you? Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Those lyrics remind us that we all need somebody to lean on. And together, we can overcome even the toughest of the toughest challenges. In closing, the journey towards zero isn't just a goal, it's a definite promise. A promise to never stop fighting for those who came before us, those living with HIV right now, and those who will come after us. So today, I challenge each of you to be a part of this movement. Advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves. Educate your communities. Show compassion to those who need it the most. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, your beautiful presence, and your commitment to this cause. Together, we can make a zero reality. Happy holidays, everybody.
I had a change. Okay, good. We had a change in service, so order of service, so I didn't know if it was time for me to stand up and do something or not. Montreal, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, your words, your work, and for the amazing people at the Ryan White Project Center. We're so thankful for all that y'all do on a regular basis. World AIDS Day not only allows us to pause and move towards that zero. It's probably the first time that I've ever been encouraged to get a zero, right? Most of my teachers were like, no zeros here. But we want to, sometimes encouraging zero is not a bad thing, right? I've had people come to me and say, why have World AIDS Day service? We have pills now. I've had people in our community say that to me, the LGBTQIA. The reason is our history. The reason is current history that's being lived every day. The reason is we're not at zero just yet. I read a book that I was told about a few years ago, and I've been making a habit of breaking it out before December 1st, and I would encourage you, it's on Amazon, and the name of the book, if you've never read it, by Ruth Coker Burks, All the Young Men. It is a book that takes a journey of a young woman who in the middle of the 1980s and 90s took it as her personal mission to be in the AIDS wards with the young men who were diagnosed with AIDS. And no one would go and be with them because no one knew how this was being transmitted. There's a quote in her book that at this time of the service I want us to remember. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just keep breathing. This quote sounds simplistic, but it isn't. From the days of an epidemic that was riddled with ignorance, uncertainty, homophobia, people that were bigoted, this idea, this mindset truly speaks of the strength some had to press through and to live out the best they could unto their last breath. The stories from that decade and that which was to follow are horrific. In hearing how people died alone, unwanted. The ravages of HIV/AIDS in the 1980s and 90s took a toll on the world, threw roadblocks to a movement that was looking to spread the message of love and equality. Many lost their fight and passed into eternity, while those that endured, those that kept breathing, carried with them the scars of loss, the wounds of being rejected. Both those that have moved forward and beyond, and those that remain, that kept breathing, both still speak to us today, and both give us hope for a future where HIV/AIDS are placed in the long-distant past. A story facing adversity, and a story that reminds us that we can come through life stronger. In the next few moments, I want to encourage you to remember those who you may have known that have moved forward, that have moved on, that now live in that eternal existence. And those that are sitting here in this room, and you know of individuals who are currently still fighting that fight to live their best new normal, to live their best life still, and who are hoping for the cure to the disease that has attacked their body. I want to encourage you as we remember those who have gone and those who still live. Let us with hope lend them our strength. On the ribbon that you were passed out, or given as you came into the service, I'm going to ask Leo to go up and down the row, and there's a permanent marker. And I would invite you to write the name of the person that may come to your mind. You may write a couple of names on the ribbon, front, back. And on your way out this evening, I would invite you to the left as you exit the sanctuary is our World AIDS Day tree that will remain up throughout this holiday season. It will carry their names in remembrance, and it will be a moment in which you can write their name and offer your thoughts, your feelings, to mourn and to embrace. As we play this song, I would invite you to write and to remember and let's observe the silence of our thoughts and the power of the words of this song.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a sea drop by a sky bird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you've blamed me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed
We are thankful for this space. We are thankful for this moment to gather, to remember, to honor, and to stand with those who have gone before us, and to stand with those living with HIV/AIDS. We prepare our hearts to move beyond this sacred and safe space. We remember their names. We remember their spirit. And we are thankful that we knew them and that they have been placed in our lives. Until we reach zero, may the flame that burns within each of us, may the strength that has been given to us by the divine, may it burn, and may we lend that strength to each other all of our days and that which is to come. As we extinguish this candle, may it remind us to take the light from this room that burns within our hearts into our world and demonstrate love, demonstrate compassion and kindness. Our hope, our prayer is that at the end of this service, that we have been renewed, that we have been strengthened, and that we have been reminded that there is a chance, that there is strength, and there is good yet to be had in this world, and that a cure will come. As we prepare to dismiss, remember your thoughts. Remember the love that was expressed by those who've moved on, and remember to embrace those that are still standing, hoping for a cure. Thank you so much for being a part of our World AIDS Day service this evening. Again, I would invite you on your way out to the left of our double doors from the sanctuary is our World AIDS Day tree. Please feel free to place your ribbon there that we may remember throughout this holiday season those that are struggling and those that have moved and gone before us. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you again for participating in tonight's service. Bless you.